Alright, so this has got to be the summer of comeback. So typically, I try not to work a lot in the summer in the garage, primarily because it is really, really hot. Fortunately, today it is not too bad, but this summer I've been getting a lot of computers come back that I've worked on in the past. But it's fine. This one actually, I built it 3 years ago, and this was one of the earlier computers that I actually did my own little custom touch, maybe, but mostly I went on the Facebook Marketplace, found this cheap for $40. It was an i7 3rd gen, bunch of storage drives, and 16 gigs of DDR4, no graphics card. We put a computer together for it, and we flipped it pretty good. Made a nice profit on it. Now, with all that being said, now it's back in the garage 3 years later, and the customer says that something about no storage drive being detected. It might be the drive is bad. We'll see. We'll look into it, and let's see what we can do. So on this one, I actually did a custom water cooling. This is not actually the final form or the original form of this computer. Did a custom water cooling with graphics card, and it was a really cool build. I enjoyed it. Probably one of my more favorite builds. I'll post a link to that video. Definitely check it out. It was a cool build. Definitely cool. So first things like we do a visual inspection to make sure that everything is there that we're supposed to be there, that we sold. I know this customer very well. We work together, good friends, so not too concerned, but I can honestly see this is the same case, motherboard. I remember all the specs. So if you're doing this type of work and if you learn from my other videos, make sure you know what you sold them so they don't bring something else back and saying, hey, you're supposed to warranty it, or can you give me a free fix? I mean, I'll fix any computer if it's under warranty for free, but I'll fix any computer also as long as they pay. But moving on. So let's pop this open. Kind of feel bad because the kid has a little sticker there. See if we could there we go. So taking a look at it, everything seems to be okay. I don't smell nothing. Always do the smell test first, because I mean, if this computer was like burnt or something, I don't want to plug it in and set my house on fire. That would be no bueno. 1 terabyte, they remember put it in. We have an SSD. More than likely the SSD may have went bad on it, so we'll have to look into that. Everything appears to be good. Now this graphics card, this computer was kind of built during, well, it wasn't kind of, it was built during the pandemic type deal, GPU apocalypse. This is a W4100, I believe. W4100, and they're happy with it. I asked him, I said, hey, do you want to, get a new graphics card? Do you want to do anything to it? He says, nope, my son loves it the way it is. It's perfect for the potato games that he plays. So pretty awesome. W4100, pretty cheap, folks. Definitely an option if you find it cheap enough. All right, so let's pop in some power. Let's do, jeez. Well, that's not good. I don't have the adapter. Bummer. So I think what we're gonna do, just for the sake of getting this thing running and finding out what's wrong, we're just gonna use this DVI to HDMI. So this is an Intel 3rd gen. It does have integrated graphics. If this was a Ryzen, we'd be waiting for the customer to bring that, or have to go out and purchase one. So now that we get everything plugged in, let's go ahead and power it on. I think it was kind of weird what that fan was doing. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. And this thing just powered off. Interesting. I don't know why it would power off. All right, so let's dive in. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just take out this graphics card. Okay, now let's fire it up and see if that gives us some life. And I'll tell you what, folks, this motherboard is pretty cool. It's the P8Z77WS power button right here. Debug LED. I mean, this thing was fancy. Interesting. Fired right up with the graphics card not on. Could be a setting. I'm not gonna go too crazy about it. So, oh, okay. Please enter setup to recover. Oh, okay. Now we see why it was shutting down. Computer's going too fast for me, folks. i7 3rd gen, there's too much speed going on here, so please enter setup to recover BIOS setting. USB device overcurrent status detected. No keyboard detected. System will shut down after 15 seconds. It's picking up the 2 drives, the CD drive, but this I have seen, so let's look into that. So now what I want to do is inspect. So what that's telling me is that one of the USBs are shorted. This is a kid's computer, and I've seen a lot of the times what they do is that, you know, they just kind of shove it in, and if it doesn't fit, they just keep pushing it and pushing it until it breaks. So let's look at the motherboard. Everything looks to be okay. Let's look right up here. Oh, bingo. Do we got it? You guys see that? Yep. Broke one of the USB ports. That's definitely no bueno. So I've seen that happen a bunch, and pretty much what happens with that is that, you know, it's touching something it shouldn't be touching, creating a short. I think this is the plug for it. So let's go ahead and unplug this, and let's see if this error goes away. Alright, so now it says no keyboard detected. Did I plug in my USB thing? Nope, I sure did not. But as you can see, we don't have that error anymore. So let's go ahead and pop the USB keyboard in, just like so. Press F1. The BIOS reset itself, so I'm going to have to change the battery. Maybe it just drained the battery. Not sure, but we could fix that too. But I just want this thing to boot just to make sure that the drives work. And this might be as simple as fix, no parts required. Yep, we're good to go. Like I say in all my videos, I don't like to put people's names and personal information out, so let me dive into that and we'll be right back. All right, so computer booted up into Windows. We have no issues there. Everything is running fine, just as good. So by unplugging this USB, which we saw that it is damaged up there, yeah, that is our problem. Glad it's not the motherboard. Typically, if those break on the motherboard, you have really 2 options. Number one, you might get lucky enough to bend the pins back where they're not touching, creating a short. And the other one is that, well, you have to get another motherboard. So luckily, this is still good. Unfortunately, they won't have the convenience of plugging in at the top of the case, but they could get a hub or extender, whatever. So let's test this battery. Let's make sure it is good. I'm pretty sure it's that undervolt thing that caused that issue, but still. It's supposed to be 3 volts. Yep, 3 volts. So that's good. Nothing more frustrating than sending back a computer and, well, you miss something like that. So now let's plug in the graphics card. All right, so off camera, I'm just gonna go ahead and reconfigure the BIOS. Not gonna bore you with all that stuff. Just give this thing a quick dust out, clean up, and we're gonna wrap up this video. This was pretty easy. All right, so that was pretty easy. Everything works pretty good, and very thankful for that. It's pretty cool that after 3 years of building this is an i7 3rd gen. The customer is still happy with it, does not want any upgrades, as this is more than enough for what they do. Even offered a graphics card like I talked about earlier, but they said, nah, we're good with it. And realistically, if it was to pop something like a 1070, maybe even a 1080, something like that, this thing would run fantastic. So definitely something to consider. But i7 3rd gen, I have a lot of customers that are still rocking them, and they have no issues with it, and they have no plans to upgrade. So now for my suggestions, anytime I get a repair, and I've been talking a little bit about this, and maybe I just need to do a more in-depth how-to guide of how I my thought process and what I do when I get a computer in. But the first thing I always like to do is smell test and visual inspection. Here's why. If I see something that looks sticky, gooey, or moving, yeah, I know which way I got to go with this, or which way to throw this computer out of the garage. And the smell test, if I smell something that's burnt, then you know, hey, you got to be careful, because possibly a burnt power supply, something that's burnt on the motherboard. Kind of get your idea. Usually if you smell something that's burnt, it's going to require a little more money. And if you smell roaches, well, you know the deal on that. And in this case, visual inspection for the win, because we had that error about the overvolt protection, shuts down the computer after 15 seconds or however long it's set. And as you can see, yeah, looks like one of the kiddos just kind of popped in something and just snapped it right off. I see that a lot. Fortunately, it's on this. Unfortunately, I can't get it, but you know, I can't get this piece. It's fine. It'd be cheaper just to get a newer, smaller case. I'll suggest that to the customer. If it was on the motherboard, you usually have a 1 and 2 shot. Number one, you might be able to bend the pins back enough where the computer is usable. If not, then the motherboard shot. Yeah, definitely not good on that. But fortunately, easy fix. So I'm gonna reach out to the customer. This is an easy fix, and I'm gonna ship it back to him and let it be. As far as like, because people ask, you know, what would I charge? What I do? This is a no charge. This is, I mean, it's really easy. It literally took me 5 minutes just to come in here and unplug this. So, you know, freebies are good, because when this computer is time to upgrade, he's going to come see me, and I know he has 2 computers lined up that he is going to be buying from me in the future. So take care of your customers. They will take care of you. And I've learned just from running my little side hustle, if you work for free, it comes back tenfold. Definitely a good golden rule. So comment down below, let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. Have you ever run into this issue? If you see it on the motherboard, what do you suggest if you can't bend back the pins? Unsolder it. And Intel 3rd gen, how much longer do you think it has, besides the Windows 10 expiration date, before this thing is no more, or just not even worth your time? Or maybe it's not even worth the time now. Definitely let me know down below. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.